Hello and welcome to my channel Planet Bio, and today I am going to discuss class reptilia. Class reptilia. Class reptilia means crawling or creeping animals. Introduction point you should write crawling or creeping animals. Crawling or creeping animals. And study of reptiles is called herpetology. Herpetology. Now, class reptilia have about 6,000 species. Two very important characteristic features the reptiles have. First one, they are having a particular characteristic, that is habitat terrestrial. They are truly terrestrial. They are land vertebrates. Truly terrestrial. And they being truly terrestrial exhibit two more characteristic features: internal fertilization and extra embryonic membrane present. Extra membranes or sacs are present around the embryo, like amnion, chorion, allantois, yolk sac, these are present. So truly terrestrial. We should write in this manner: habitat. Habitat. Truly terrestrial means now the life forms have reached land. Earlier, the life forms were aquatic. Now they are purely land vertebrates. But you may ask one question: sir, we have seen some reptiles moving in water, floating in water, swimming in water. Yes, that is the secondary adaptation. But the habitat is terrestrial. Have you seen somebody swimming in water? Humans are not aquatic. Have you seen somebody falling through parachute? No aerial adaptation, no flight adaptation, no volant adaptation. Adaptation only. Habitat terrestrial. Habitat is terrestrial. Adaptation may be secondary, may be aquatic, may be flying. That is the adaptation. But the habitat is truly terrestrial. They are meant for living on land, and that's why they show internal fertilization, and they have extra embryonic membranes, amnion, chorion, allantois, yolk sac. These are extra embryonic membranes present here, and it will be present. These will be present onward in birds, in mammals also. So they are amniotic. So terrestrial means two more characteristics. Internal. These exhibit internal fertilization. As land animals, so exhibit internal fertilization. And then extra embryonic membranes are present. Extra embryonic membranes are present. EEMS. EEMS, extra embryonic membranes, means membranes and sacs present around the embryo for protection, nourishment, and providing facilities for growth and development. And the extra embryonic membranes are amnion, then chorion, then allantois, then yolk sac. These are extraembryonic membranes. As these are present, so the animal group is called amniotes or amniota. Amniota means with extraembryonic membranes. That is membranes or sacs present around the embryo. Example, amnion, chorion, allantois, yolk sac. Now the animals belonging to this category will include reptiles, birds and mammals. But if these extraembryonic membranes are absent, that means the term will be given anamniota, species and amphibians, cyclostomes, chondrichthyes, osteichthyes and amphibians. Anamniota, here amniota. So habitat is truly terrestrial and two features come out, that these will exhibit internal fertilization and these have extraembryonic membranes for support, growth and development. Amnion, chorion, allantois, yolk sac. So the group amniota. This amniota group contains ram, reptilia, aves and mammalia. Ram. And if extraembryonic membranes are absent in other classes, like you can see cyclostomes, chondrichthyes, osteichthyes, amphibia, so there they are called anamniota. Anamniota means extraembryonic membranes are absent. Now, very important is that these points would be discussed in reproduction, chapter reproduction in standard 12. So you should note down all these things properly. Otherwise you will have some problems in developing concept, right concept later on. So these are the important points. Some people will say you that these things need not be discussed, but this is for your information and knowledge, that you should have these basic points, otherwise you will feel problems in further chapters like reproduction. Now next point. Next point is very clear. What about exoskeleton? That means outer covering of the body, you can say. Exoskeleton includes skin, and skin has two layers. Skin or integument has two layers. One is epidermis and another one is dermis. Epidermis is outer, thin and non-vascular. Dermis is inner, thick and vascular. Now epidermis gets modified into scales and scutes. So you can find epidermal scales, scutes, shields, spines. All these are epidermal derivatives. In ancient book only scales and scutes are written. Here you must add shields and spines. Spines, crocodiles, shields, snakes, scutes, scales, you can find in different reptiles. So these are epidermal derivatives. These are the modifications of epidermis, the outer, thin and non-vascular layer, to exist in different conditions. That is a kind of adaptation. One question is asked, these epidermal scales are cast off, shed off the whole body, skin cast, that is scales, skin cast, that is called ecdysis, that can be seen in lizards and snakes. Lizards and snakes. Questions are asked, snakes and lizards shed their scales as skin cast. Lizards and snakes shed shed their scales. Shed means cast off. हटा देना, shed off. Older one is removed and new one is developed. Shed as skin cast. This question is asked. So you must note down in your school examination as well as NEET, in NEET. So lizards and snakes shed off or cast off the whole body skin. Actually scales are cast off, shed off, means the older ones removed and newer ones developed. Now the skin color may be of two different types, on dorsal side and on ventral side. This is the dorsal side, this is the ventral side. Dorsal and ventral. As per adaptation, you can find different colors are there. Now what about endoskeleton? Endoskeleton means internal framework of the body. That is always bony. That is always bony. Bony endoskeleton is there. You can find skull monocondylic. Only one occipital condyle, monocondylic. Skull monocondylic. Vertebral column is present, no problem. That's why vertebrate. Vertebral column present, monocondylic skull present. Limbs may or may not be present. Limbs may or may not be present. If limbs are present, for example, you can see crocodiles, alligators, javelins, absent in most snakes. Now, python may have a hind limb. Hind limbs are there. Or vestiges you can see there. And some lizards are also snakes and limbless lizard. Limbless lizards are there. And limbless lizard, for example, you can write Ophiosaurus. Ophiosaurus is the example of limbless lizard. But there are certain lizards which have limbs. For example, Hemidactylus, wall lizard, house lizard, calots, garden lizard, chameleon, tree lizard. So, the basics should be clear to you. Now, next point. What about the digestive system? Digestive system. They may be, the feeding nature may be of varying nature. They may be herbivorous, carnivorous, that is another thing. But alimentary canal, that is the food canal, alimentary canal ends in cloaca. Cloaca means the common chamber with common opening to store and release excretory wastes, reproductive units as well. And so far as the mouth is concerned, you can see may have poison gland or may not have poison gland. Some animals you can see they don't have teeth. For example, turtles and tortoises, they are toothless. But snakes are toothed. And the poison gland includes maxillary teeth in upper jaw and parotid salivary gland. Okay. Next point, respiratory system. Respiration is done by lungs. So we must say pulmonary respiration. Pulmonary respiration. Next point. Circulatory system. Closed type circulation can be seen as hemocoel is absent and capillaries are present, and heart is generally three chambered. But, or you can say incomplete four chambered. Incomplete means these are two auricles and ventricles have incomplete interventricular septum. Incomplete interventricular septum. So, three chambered heart. But exception is crocodiles. Four chambered heart. Four chambered heart. And here you can see systemic arc. Systemic arc you can see. What do you mean by systemic arc? Means supplying to the body. Systemic arc. Systemic arc you can see paired. Paired होती है सिस्टेमिक आर्क SA. तो इस तरह से पेयर्ड होते हैं ऐसे. सिस्टेमिक आर्क इसको कहते हैं, राइट एंड लेफ्ट. सिस्टेमिक आर्क कहते हैं इसको, पेयर्ड. ये जानना जरूरी है. सिस्टेमिक आर्क पेयर्ड, राइट एंड लेफ्ट, and both are communicated through an aperture, that is foramen of Panizzi. This is a big question, generally not discussed, as not mentioned in NCERT, but you must note down, because evolution you have to study in standard 12. So you can find foramen of Panizzi. Two systemic arcs, right and left, both are communicated through an aperture called foramen of Panizzi. So this is a specific point you must note down. And next point is excretory system. Excretory system. As we are moving from non-chordates to chordates, so you can see evolutionary changes you can find. Some progressive evolutionary changes. Progressive मतलब बढ़ते हुए क्रम में, and some retrogressive evolutionary changes also you can find. But very clearly you can find some progressive changes, that is kidneys have now become metanephric, the most advanced type of kidney. Kidneys are metanephric, and this metanephric kidneys will be found further in aves and mammalia also. So first time appeared. Question may be asked in chapter excretion also, in animal physiology. Human kidneys are metanephric in evolution, and first time appeared in, then you can write in class reptilia, Class reptilia. Now, excretory nature. From excretory point of view, these are uricotelic, means these release uric acid. And you know, if an animal excretes uric acid, that means in the form of pellets. That means maximum water conservation is there. Maximum water conservation. So this question is also asked in chapter excretion, animal physiology. Name uricotelic animals. You can write insects, reptiles, birds, land snails for maximum water conservation. Next one. Next one you can see, there may be some exceptions, but we should not write all these things. One more thing is that kidneys are meant for excretion as well as osmoregulation also. So this is another question. Kidneys are for excretion and osmoregulation as well. Means what amount of water needs to be kept inside the body and what amount of water needs to be expelled outside the body. Osmoregulation. What amount of water and salts need to be kept inside the body, need to be retained inside the body, and what amount should be released out. So primarily kidneys are osmoregulatory in function and secondarily they are excretory. But so far as our body is concerned, main excretory organ becomes kidneys because others have secondary role. Now, nervous system. In nervous system, as you know, we have to write distinguishing features only. What makes this class different? Only that much we need to write. Nervous system or neural system. Cranial nerves. Cranial nerves are 12 pairs. That means 12 plus 12, 24. And this characteristic have come into existence for the first time here. So first time appeared. So two questions, metanephric kidneys and cranial nerves have appeared for the first time in this class reptilia, and these features will continue. These characteristic features will continue in class aves and mammalia. Okay. So this is going to be very, very important. Next one. What about sense organs? What about sense organs? Sensory system. Now come to sensory system. Sense organs. Eyes act as photoreceptor organ. Photoreceptors. Eyes act as photoreceptors. But you see, eyelids are absent in snakes. For example, nictitating membranes are absent in snakes. And in NCERT it has been written, ears. Ears are statoacoustic organ. We have discussed. Stato means for equilibrium that is for balancing the body, and acoustic means hearing sound waves, statoacoustic organ. Lizards may have external plus middle plus internal ears, but snakes have internal ear only. Internal ear only. Lizards may have external plus middle plus internal ears, but snakes have internal ear only. At the midpoint, you can find at the midpoint of external and middle there is tympanum. So in NCERT it has been mentioned. NCERT का line में पढ़ता हूँ. Tympanum represents ear, and many reptiles do not have external ear opening. This is for your information. Tympanum represents ear. Tympanum means what? Eardrum. Eardrum represents ear. This is the line taken from NCERT. And many reptiles do not have external ear opening. Tympanum represents ear, and many reptiles do not have external ear opening. But I would say one thing, that Columella oris is present here.